Morning, folks. Day soap brought to us from TFS. This one here is from the traditional line that I mentioned in the previous video. You kind of see that the name is imprinted there. This one here has a citrus or a lime type scent to it. At least that's what my nose picks up. It's a very unique shape container. I'm going to follow the day shave up with Pinaud Citrus Musk. Thought the two would play well together, kind of complement each other. We got it whipped up over here in a bowl that I got, a wooden bowl that I got from Beard Knife on Etsy. That's what the bowl looks like there. It's about a medium-sized bowl. It does well keeping the lather down in there, at least the way I lather it up. This particular brush comes by the way of Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, and if I get it turned around here, there we go. And it may be kind of hard to see, but in very small print underneath the name there, it does tell you that it's a 24mm knot. Pretty nice brush, I like it. It fits well in the hand when you're working the lather up. And this one here, I've got it whipped up moist, but not exactly drippy. Whipped up pretty easy this morning. And still sporting the Taconic Preshave oil, 2 pumps per shave. And blade of choice today, going to go with a feather today. Thought it might be kind of, I guess you might say from one extreme to the other to a degree. In the last video, shaving video, used a King C Gillette razor with a relatively long handle, about 4 inches. This one here is 3 inches. It's a lot shorter. This one is an Edwin Jagger. This one here you can find on Amazon. Matter of fact, this might be the only place you can find the short-handled ones on Amazon. This one here has got some nice knurling on it. Comes with, you can find a handle that's ivory or black, and I think there's also a straight-up chrome one that's available. This one here was pretty inexpensive in that I only had to see what was the going price, just over $27 ship. I think it's like $27.07, something like that. It's pretty inexpensive. A while back I got my son the one with the black handle that's short. It's like I say, they're not too terribly expensive. So in other words, if maybe a 4-inch handle is not to your liking, maybe a 3-inch might be. Going from one end to the other of the spectrum there. The fit and finish of Edwin Jagger, to me, has always been nice. My very first Edwin Jagger razor that I bought, I was very impressed with as it goes for the fit and finish. It looked really nice. Just a awesome look in the razor. I mean, when you look at it, to me, especially the one I got, my very first one was a smooth chrome handle. I was just, oh, it looks so good. Still does as far as that goes. But the probably for some folks, it is what most would consider a mild shaver. Definitely one that you can use on a daily basis and wouldn't have to worry too much about, in other words, irritation or feeling like it's, how can you say, scraping more than just the whiskers off as opposed to taking off a layer of skin. I've never had that kind of experience with it, with Edwin Jagger. They come in different models as it goes for different kind of handles. Probably the more recent one that is in a totally different budget line, if you will, is the Edwin Jagger 316. Matter of fact, I had it queued up since yesterday. In other words, finding time with everything that's going on. Watching CB's shave with the Edwin Jagger 316 in the moon soap. You can see this is going on pretty easy. Painting. That's how I put mine on. I paint my lather on. 316 looks really nice. Comes in different, once again, different kind of handles. In other words, you can get a red one and chrome one, or just whatever the case might be. Now this particular shaver shipped with derby blades, and to the best of my memory, in the beginning, I guess you might say, at least as far as I can go back in my memory, Edwin Jagger shipped her shavers out with derby blades, and then not too terribly long ago they switched it up and started shipping them with feathers. And this one shipped with derby. It's not that I don't like derby, but I decided to go with a feather blade. Derby blades are pretty inexpensive, and for me it depends on the shaver whether a derby blade works well for me. It's kind of, in other words, shaver driven, whether I get a great shave or not with a derby blade. I've got hordes of derby blades. I do like them. I do use them from time to time. But for this particular case, I decided to go with the feather blade just to see how it would respond. See if there's anything different about this particular head, as well as the shortness of the handle, the weight of the razor. Does it change the kind of shave that I'm getting? Very smooth. First pass with the grain, very smooth. So I don't know whether or not I'd have to say with a feather blade, I don't feel an aggressiveness just because I've got the feather blade. It's still a very smooth shaver. Still picking up just the scent probably has dissipated a little bit over time with this particular soap. I should probably mention again that this line, I think, is what is referred to as a traditional line of soaps. So in other words, the ingredients for this particular soap will be different than some of their other soaps that they make. This one here, in other words, I think the first ingredient is water, next one stearic acid, and then it just goes from there. So if you're expecting to see, the best I remember, I don't remember seeing anything in the way of any butters like cocoa butter, mango butter, shea butter, any of those butters. I don't remember seeing any of that on the ingredient list, and the ingredient list is relatively short. I'll try to remember have all the links down below for all this in case you want to check it out, take a look at it, because this particular soap is not going to be easy to find. It was put out a few years ago, and about like any other soap, sometimes in other words, they're made for a period of time and then they move on to another line of soap. So this particular line may not be easy to find. I was trying to remember how much it was when I got this soap. I don't remember how much the price is exactly, but I do remember it was relatively inexpensive. It wasn't expensive soap by any means. At least at that point in time. Nowadays, because how you say supply and demand, there's probably not a whole lot of supply, so the prices might have crept up just a bit. In other words, folks knowing that this soap is not easy to find nowadays. But like I said, it's along the traditional line of soap ingredients and line. It works, how you say, fine for me. I don't complain a bit about it. But it is not going to be a soap for everyone. If you're really liking the soap with the butters, if you will, really liking that kind of soap base, this one here may not be for you. I guess you might say it might be also a kind of geared to somebody on a budget that's not wanting to spend a whole lot of money on a soap. But it's a nice soap. When I say, you can tell it's working just fine. Edwin Jagger, DE89 if you will, feather blade, relatively smooth shave, can't complain a bit about it. A little bit of feedback on the against the grain, but typically most folks would consider a feather blade a relatively sharp blade, maybe not the smoothest blade available on the market. So if you kind of consider the idea that this is a mild shaver with a very sharp blade and still able to get a very smooth shave, that maybe that's a good combination right there. That's my thoughts behind it, at least. Excuse me. That's a that's definitely the way to go with a shaver like this. For me, boy, that is really smooth. That is just an easygoing shave. I think the feather blade adds to the efficiency of the shave. My cheeks are very smooth. Really nice shave. I kind of find that a feather blade in what is considered a mild shaver, guess you might say, steps up the shave just a notch. Guess you might appreciate the shave just a bit more. I could, in other words, there's just a little bit left right down through here if I was looking for BBS, but typically I don't usually chase the BBS. Smooth, comfortable shave is what I'm looking for, especially on a daily basis. I'm pretty much, I guess you might say, considered a daily shaver. Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, Crown King, Alum Block complete with rubber band this morning. I pretty much shave every day. There's an occasion. In other words, 365 days, there might be 5 days I might miss shaving. It's not very often. No stinging, none whatsoever. Like I say, a very nice smooth shave this morning. I think it was a good choice going with the feather. Not that Derby would have been a bad one, but really happy with how this shave turned out. Quick, easy. Like I say, no stinging. I'm still waiting, still not feeling anything. This is a Stirling Witch Hazel. It's unscented, but it is mentholated. Stirling has various different scented witch hazels. This one here is a 8-ounce size, and if you're looking to be on a tight budget, you can find quality witch hazel, I guess you might say, at a lower price. Typically, for me, we travel to Marshalls, Ross, TJ Maxx on occasion. TJ Maxx, just by geographic location, is a little bit further for us to drive, so we don't make it to TJ Maxx all that often. But Marshalls is relatively close, and not too far from that, just a few stores down is Ross. But usually Marshalls is the one that carries the witch hazels on a pretty regular basis. And usually they'll have Humphreys there for, right around the $5.99 mark, depending on what size container you get, because Humphreys comes in also a larger, like 12-ounce size, pretty good size container. You might pay $1 or $2 more for it, but on a rare occasion they'll have some Thayers, and it runs relatively close to the same price, maybe $7.99. I think last time I saw it. Nice cooling effect this morning. But there's, in other words, you can more or less source some cheaper witch hazel other than like something that you might get from Stirling or as Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, as far as that goes. This here, relatively inexpensive in the grand scheme of things. This container started out being 12.5 ounces, and that's what, 370 milliliters of awesome goodness here. This one here, the Citrus Musk and the Lime Sec, I like both of them. It was a flip of a coin which one I was going to go with. But boy, howdy, I do like these scents. Inexpensive. I guess you might say to a degree. Shave was pretty well inexpensive. To a degree. Depends on what you call inexpensive in the way of the shaver. You can find a cheaper DE shaver for sure. Weishi is to me, it's just a spot on twist to open, inexpensive shaver. Back when they first came out, when I first started shaving, those were right around the $10 mark. I think the prices have creeped up just a tad bit. They come in short handles, long handles. I mean, the prices and availability of DE shavers nowadays seem like, they're everywhere. Boy, this was a really nice shave. Boy, I love this scent. May have to put some more on after this. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's safe, healthy, and by all means, smooth shaves to you.